Hi guys! I have a book here called Mañana, Iguana by Ann Paul and Ethan Long. This story might be similar. Let's see if we can't figure out if it reminds us of a story we've heard before. On Monday, Lunes, Iguana twitched her tail happily. Let's celebrate spring with a party on Saturday. Conejo hopped up and down. Yes, let's. Tortuga poked out of his shell. A fiesta? On Sabado? Count me in. Culebra shook his rattle. Me too. Good, said Iguana. We must start right away. Who will help me write the invitations? Yo no, not I, said Conejo. I write too fast. No one could read my words. Yo no, said Tortuga. I write too slow. I can't hold a pen, said Culebra. Maybe I'll grow arms tonight and I can help you tomorrow. We can't wait until mañana. Iguana wriggled her tail. I'll write the invitations myself. And she did. On Marte, Iguana asked who will help me deliver the invitations for our fiesta. Yo no, said Conejo. I move too fast. I'd pass our friends. Yo no, said Tortuga. I move too slow. Culebra said, if I grow arms tonight, I'll help you mañana, Iguana. Mañana will be too late. Iguana fidgeted her tail. I'll deliver the invitations myself. And she did. On Miércoles, Iguana asked who will help me stuff the piñata for our fiesta. Yo no, said Conejo. I stuffed too fast. I'd rip and tear. Yo no, said Tortuga. I stuffed too slow. Culebra said, mañana, Iguana, when I grow arms. Too many excuses. Iguana flounced her tail. I'll stuff the piñata myself. And she did. On Jueves, Iguana begged, please, will someone help me cook food for our fiesta? Yo no, said Conejo. I cook too fast. I'd make a mess. Yo no, says Tortuga. I cook too slow. Culebra said, if I grow arms, I'll help you mañana, Iguana. Iguana slapped her tail on the ground. I'll cook the food myself. And she did. On Viernes, Iguana sighed. I don't suppose anyone will help me hang the streamers for our fiesta. Yo no, said Conejo. I hang too fast. I tear the streamers. Yo no, says Tortuga. I hang too slow. Culebra says, I'll help you hang the streamers. Iguana clapped. Hooray! I'll help you mañana, Iguana, when I grow arms. I knew it. Iguana smacked her tail on the ground so hard she puffed up a cloud of dirt. I'll decorate by myself. And she did. And then when it was Sabado, Conejo hopped up and down. We're ready for our fiesta. Tortuga popped out of his shell. Here come our guests. Culebra shook his rattle. Let's greet them. No. Iguana whipped her tail around in angry circles. I wrote the invitations and I delivered them. I stuffed the piñata. I cooked the food. I hung the streamers. Now I and I alone will greet my guests at the fiesta. And she did. Conejo hurried to hide behind a cactus. Tortuga shrunk into his shell. Culebra slithered under a rock. They watched for a long time while the guests laughed and ate and broke the piñata. What a fine fiesta, the guests said as they left. Iguana yawned. I'm too tired to clean up. I'll do it mañana. So she stretched out and soon slept. Conejo hopped out from behind the cactus. Iguana's really worn out, he said. Tortuga poked out of his shell. She should be. She did everything. Culebra slithered out from under a rock, and we did nothing. They were silent for a long time. Suddenly, Conejo says, I have an idea. He told it to his friends. That's great, said Tortuga. Culebra said, let's start now. And they did. Conejo pulled down the streamers. put away the leftovers, and packed up the trash. Tortuga scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed. One giant platter. And Culebra squiggled and squirmed, sweeping the ground spotless. They worked until Domingo, and Iguana woke up. She rubbed her eyes. She looked around. She looked at Conejo, Tortuga, and Culebra. Iguana smiled. Gracias, she said. Thank you. Then she twitched her tail happily. You must be hungry from all your hard work. Who will help me eat the leftovers? Yo sí, cried Conejo, Tortuga, and Culebro. And they all did. So did that story remind you of a story you know? The Little Red Hen? You got it. Iguana was just like the Little Red Hen, working so hard to put on her party, and her friends did absolutely nothing to help. They weren't able to enjoy the party because of it, just like in the Little Red Hen. All right, we're going to create a desert scene and draw a turtle to go with it. What you're going to need is some paint, a piece of paper, a paintbrush, water, paper towel to dry off your brush, scissors, glue, crayons, oil pastels, and a black Sharpie. If you don't have paint, that's okay. You could use a white piece of paper and do your desert with crayons or markers. We're going to start out with our sand. I'm going to create a horizon line. That's the line where the ocean or the land meets the sky. And I'll bring this all the way down using my horizontal brush strokes. Go all the way to the edges. Now that I'm done with the ground, I'll clean my brush, dry it off. In the desert, we find cactus. So I'm going to paint one on the side here. I'll start with a vertical line down to the ground, and then they have arms coming off of them. Clean my brush. Maybe I want to add a sun on the other side. There's a little white in there to get it to show up. If you want to make some orange, go ahead and mix your red and yellow. You can also add some little clouds in your sky, some going off the page. That always makes it exciting. And then I wanted to put a few needles on my cactus. You could even put the little ribbing. You need a small brush for that. Mine might be a little bit too big. To give that cactus a little bit of texture. Now that we're done painting, we're going to get another piece of paper, a white piece of paper. We're going to draw our turtle. I'm going to start with 2 eyeballs over towards the side. So the middle's here. I've moved over to the side. Now I got to decide, what will my turtle be looking at? I think he's probably going to look at something over there, so I'll put his pupils over there. Go ahead and come down from the side to make the head. You can go ahead and give him a little smile or frown, however you want him to feel. Now I'm going to do the shell. So it's going to start at the head. I'm going to curve up and around. Make sure you're air drawing first, especially if you use a marker. You can't erase it. And then I'll come down a little bit. And I'm going to connect these with a curved line. I'm going to go ahead and add 1, 2. Notice I'm using like little U's. 3, 4 legs. Now I can design my shell. I'm going to do a parallel line across, maybe one more. Then you can think of a line to put in this one. Do you want wavy, zigzag? I think I'll do zigzag. Now think of some shapes you want to do for the shell. Do you want to use circle shapes? Circles around, or you can do squares. I think maybe I'll make a few squares. Here we go. Now we're ready to color. I'm going to speed my video up for you, but you take your time. Now that I'm done coloring, I'm going to go ahead and cut my turtle out. I like to get rid of that extra paper. Make sure you're using your helper hand to turn the paper as you cut. Take your time. Don't want to cut off any of your legs. All right, now we'll bring back our background, our desert. We are going to glue our turtle, which is called a tortuga in Spanish. We'll put some glue around the outside edges. And then find a great place for him. Do you want him coming across the bottom? Probably not floating in the sky. I think I'll have him right there. He looks like he's ready to go to fiesta.